What's up, everybody? Derek Gunn, the chair.
A phantom chair.
We are back. We are Sports Take on this Tuesday. Hope you got a chance to get out and vote. That's for sure. And I had a seamless, smooth, in and out, beautiful setup. How about you, Gunner? You had a chance to get out yet?
Yeah, I went out earlier today. And the place we normally vote, I went over there and I was surprised. There was hardly anybody there. I'm like, this is great. I'll get in and out. I walk in and they said, you've been moved. I said, what do you mean I've been moved? You've been moved to another grade school. I said, but I've always voted here. They said, yeah, but do you remember when the county had to vote? Because the last time for the presidential election, the school I voted at, some people had to wait 2-3 hours to get in to vote. The lines were so long. Gotcha. So they called themselves dividing it up more equally. So I raced over to the other school. The initial school I went to was about maybe 5 miles from my house. The other one I went to is about 3 miles from the house. So it wasn't that much of an inconvenience other than the drive time and stuff like that. So yeah, cool. I got in, got out real quick, which is I was prepared to wait in line for a long time. What about you?
Oh man, I was in and out. I said earlier, 10 minutes maybe. Yeah.
Exactly.
Great. It was great. Yeah.
Like a mercenary.
No complaints. No complaint. Yeah. Boom. Ninja. In and out. All right. So we were talking about the Eagles, and we got into the Eagles and the Commanders a little bit right at the end there. It's kind of a weird, they had the bye week a little bit back, and then you had the quick turnaround from Pittsburgh to Houston, and now you get 11 days off because you don't play again until Thursday to Monday. So that's a little bit strange. It's sort of like you're just trying to get a feel for what's happening right now. Right. But so you look at where they are. A couple things from an Eagles standpoint. They have missed 82 tackles on the season. They missed 14 versus the Texans. Now, according to Pro Football Focus, which is, sometimes you read some of the stuff on there and your head's like spinning. But sometimes
how do you come up with this stuff?
Yeah. So they're the worst tackling team according to PFF. Okay. Just for what it's worth. So where do they fall in terms of rushing defense? They're 20th right now, which that has to improve. They're giving up 121.4 per game on the ground. Now, all that said, they're plus 15 turnover differential, which is the best in football. They're giving up 16.9 points per game, and they're third in the league in passing, just 177 yards on the air, which makes that even more impressive when you consider the Eagles haven't trailed in the second half all season.
Yeah.
Which means teams are probably throwing on you to try to get back in.
Absolutely.
Games.
Absolutely.
So pass defense, excellent. Defense overall, good in terms of points allowed. Run defense definitely has to get better. And we'll see how much the emphasis and having a little extra time this week pays off against Washington. Washington's run game is not what you would call like scary, but they have some coming up. Derrick Henry's on the horizon. If Jonathan Taylor's healthy, there's some running backs on the horizon for sure.
Let's see, you're the worst tackling team in pro football, but you're 8-0. I'll take that trade-off.
Exactly.
I'll take it. I mean, does it need to improve?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, it doesn't need to improve because when you don't wrap up against that man named Derrick Henry, you're going to be on a whole lot of his highlight reels.
Yeah, King Henry will put you there.
It just still fascinates me that man is that big and can run away from people in the secondary.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a back that big with that kind of second gear speed since a guy named Earl Campbell, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's remarkable. He really is. I hope he's able to play a decent amount of years going forward. Usually those guys, when they hit the wall, it's over quick, but he's been awesome. He really has.
Not only that, the long-term effects too, when your body takes that kind of abuse, and I've talked about it before and I'll bring it up again. I look at Earl Campbell today. Earl Campbell was one of the most phenomenal football specimens to ever play the game. But you look at him now in his 50s, he can't stand up without a crutch. He can't go outside without glasses on because the sunlight gives him migraine headaches. And when you compare that to a lot of players nowadays saying, I want to get out of the game by a certain time because of a quality of life.
Right.
I know if you talk to Earl Campbell, he would say, I'm just happy to be alive. But is that a quality of life?
Yeah.
No, what you have right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That man, I mean, still, you're in your 50s. You're still a young man.
Yeah.
And now he's debilitated in the prime of his life, man, his golden years of his life. And he was the ultimate warrior, man. But That's one of the guys. That's the ultimate price you pay for what you had to go through to get what you got in life. Whew.
True. Yep.
No question. You're talking about something. If you had to do it all over again, would you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do it.
Yeah,
I would do it. But I understand there's consequences and repercussions for whatever you do.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you want to be. You know what I'm saying? If I want to be a mechanic, there's stuff that I could have something wrong with me, and then just
back
what it is.
issues, shoulder issues.
Right. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Right. Just little things. But it is what it is. When you look at this game and tackling is an issue for him. Brian Robinson's a really good back. You look at what he did last year in the national championship game. He's one of the few things that the Georgia Bulldogs defense couldn't stop. Was Brian Robinson. He's been that good. And we all know Antonio Gibson's a pretty good back. Our saving grace, I think, is Jahan Dotson still out. He's got a hamstring issue.
Yeah.
He's out. I'm so glad that at this point, as we sit right here now, Chase Young is not playing because he would have a field day against my left tackle. Until Jordan Mailata gets it straight, it's going to be tough for him the rest of the season.
What's going on, Barrett, with him, in your estimation, watching the film?
In all honesty, he's not getting off with that explosiveness, that jump set that he learned from Jason Peters. That's something that's coached into him, and he's not doing it. He's not doing that jump. He's not getting out there. He's not playing explosive. He's not getting there with a purpose. It's like he doesn't even have a purpose when, at the point of contact, you got to get there with a purpose. It's either, to put it in layman's terms, and I'm sorry, Mom, but I'm cussing right now, but, when you get to that point, when you're making the contact with that defender, it's either shit or get off the pot.
Ooh, I'm telling Mom.
I said, sorry, Mom. Dude. I said, but that's what it is. That's what it is, and he's not taking it to the place, letting the player take it to him. Man, he put them hands on people, dog. There's no way you can get around him when he goes and gets there with a purpose. He's not playing with a purpose. And that's not the same guy that I've seen the past year and a half, 2 years. What I see now, he's getting there, and he may have became a little complacent since he has the money. I don't know if that's it, or maybe he gained a couple of LBs. He doesn't feel as explosive. But what I do know, that's not the same guy that I've seen who Jason Peters brought up through the ranks. That's not what I see. I don't see
I can tell you this. I shared this with you guys. He's aware of it. Like, I interviewed him right after the game in the locker room, and he destroyed his own performance. Like, it's just not one of these deals where he's like, yeah, I'm good. He was like, I sucked. I especially sucked tonight, and I have to fix things. So he, for whatever it's worth, he's aware of it.
What I've seen of Jordan Mailata the last two games is, by the time he comes out of his stance off the snap, the edge rusher is already on his outside shoulder, which neutralizes his ability to extend his hands. Once that rusher is on your shoulder, Barrett, am I lying all right?
You know what we call it? You know what we call it?
What?
If he's even, he's leaving. If he gets even to your shoulder pads and on your side, he's gone. So if he's even, he's leaving. And that's what's happening. He's not getting out there. If you watch Lane pops out there, gets there, and then waits for the guy to get there. He's coming with a purpose. He's not doing it. He gets out there, and all of a sudden he's getting out there, but he's getting there too late, and the guy's turning his shoulder.
Absolutely.
And going around. And that's
I pay attention, Barrett. I pay attention every now and then.
He's locked in. Everything you're saying, he's locked in.
If he's even, he's leaving, and that's what happened. He's been even with him, and he's leaving him.
All right, we'll have to watch out for that. So I gave you the defensive numbers. For the most part, good. Offensively, they're second in the league in scoring. They're over 28 per game. They're sixth in rushing, 48.6 per game. They're ninth in passing, 42.3. All big time positives. They have 18 takeaways, most in the NFL. They're plus 15 turnover differential. The closest, Derek, is the Ravens at 7. So they're just crushing that. So there's a lot of good here, man. There really is. Washington, on the flip side of this, it's very mediocre, guys, as their record would dictate. They're 17th in points given up defensively. They're 21.3. They are 11th against the run. They're 18th against the pass. They're 21st in scoring. They're only scoring 17.7 per game. They're 21st in rushing. They're 22nd in passing. They're just they did have a 3-game win streak snapped last week against the Vikings. And Heineke has given them a little bit of life. 3 games, 629 yards passing, 3 interceptions, 5 touchdowns, 6.8 yards per completion, but he's only completing 63%. His passer rating's only 87.6, and he threw some he had a couple bad turnovers last week. So this is another game, and there's a reason why the Eagles are 11-point favorites.
Right. The thing that really jumps out at me about this Washington team, number one, they're only giving up, for as mediocre as they've been, they're only giving up 21.3 points per game. They're giving up 113 yards rushing, which is not bad. That's manageable.
Yeah.
Their last 5 games have all been decided by 5 points or less. They're 3-2 in their last 5 games. So at some point, they're going to get it right. The odds are going to flip in their favor. I'm not saying this week, but soon enough, they're going to get this right. They're not that far off when you think about it. You know, you got 5 games in a row decided by 5 points or less. A couple of those games decided by 3 points. One game decided by 2 points. You know, and they won those games. So they know what it takes to finish a game, and yet they still know what they have to do to try to get over the hump. They lost one game 12-7, won a game 12-7, something like that. They're not scoring a lot of points, but they're not giving up a lot. And the biggest deficiency on this team is the quarterback play. You know, Carson Wentz killed that team.
Yep.
Now, Taylor Heineke is a better manager of a game, but Taylor Heineke got a little Brett Favre in him too. He'll take some risk that they don't teach you in practices, you know. And Taylor Heineke is not going to stand back there and take 9 sacks. He'll throw the ball away. The one thing he'll do that Carson won't do is he'll throw the ball away.
Well, see, that's it right there. That's and I'm cool with him. You just won't get the sack production that you got with Carson, but that's still the same offensive line. I'm looking at them now.
Yeah,
that's the same guys that were there. That's still Sam Cosmi. Cosmi is the right tackle, and Charles Leno is the left tackle. Both tackles are not good at all, and we have upgraded since we played them the first time. We have Robert Quinn on one side, Hassan Reddick on the other side. Those two can meet at the quarterback all day with the tackles that they're playing. Is that offensive line better? They're only better because Tyler will throw the ball away. That's why they're better. He can run around a little better than Carson. No, I can't say he can't run around a little better. He has more of a pocket presence than Carson.
Yes.
Carson is by far the better athlete and can run faster and all that stuff. But, Tyler Heineke has more of an awareness of inside the pocket where the pressure's coming from and what to do when that pressure gets there. That's the biggest
over
thing.
the line like Carson King. He's 6'1", 6'2" compared to 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah, so you're talking about a guy who's smaller, more aware of what's going on around him, but you're still going to get the same results from the quarterback position as far as him not having a lot of time. And I truly believe that Robert Quinn will have a much better game against these guys, especially Leno and Cosme. He's going to beat them guys up. And, by the way, in the middle, they're going to try to stop the run because they're going to try to run the ball on him with Brian Ross. They're going to try to run the ball on him. But if they run that bear front, and now you have Hargraves at that nose guard, head up, it'll be a rough day at the office for that interior as far as, with them trying to pass the ball on those type of downs. He is great. I don't know about the run. When you run on him when Hargraves is there, I wasn't paying attention to it, but I know on passing downs when they run that bear front or the 50 front, or I think what's the name called it, the nickel front. It's hard. It's very, very hard to block him one-on-one because that's what it does. When you have that bear front, that's when you cover up the center with a nose guard, and both of the guards are covered by defensive tackles. You got Fletcher Cox on one side. You may have Williams, or maybe even put Sweat or BG in there at the other 3 technique. They put Hargrave over the nose guard. What that makes you do is block everybody, man. You can't slide the protection because you have Robert Quinn on one side, Hassan Reddick on the other side. You want those guys being blocked by big guys, by tackles. Now, they could slide the line away from one of those guys and leave one-on-one with a tight end or a running back, which will be the worst thing you can do because whoever that guy is going to win and get to the quarterback. So you want to block them man-on-man. So what that 5-man front does, blocks everybody man-to-man. Now your center has to snap the ball, number one, get his head up, get his hands on Hargraves at the same time he's trying to snap the ball and get his head up. That's bad football there, man, because Hargrave gets on the ball so quick. So that's what I'm saying. That's why they like to run that bear front.
Okay. All right. Look, it's a good sign. And again, Vegas thinks the Eagles are going to roll. We'll see how this plays out this week. I did want to mix in a little bit of Sixers, and Barrett and I touched off the top of the show a little bit, Derek, on this, but they win last night over the Suns. With the Phillies ending, the focus gets a little bit more shifted onto them. They're 5-6 on the season. Embiid, a really encouraging effort from my standpoint because he didn't look gassed. 33 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, got to the line 16 times, hit all 16. So the touch was there. He also got some help. I mean, Niang went 7 for 10 from 3, 21 points, huge. Tobias Harris had a nice game. Nice win. And I know Chris Paul got hurt in the game, but I said to Barrett earlier, you didn't have James Harden either. So it's a good win by the Sixers to take that by 12.
Well, they were a 7-2 team, Phoenix was. So that's a quality win for them, considering how up and down their season has gone. And they look, even without James Harden, they looked like a team that we consider to be one of the better teams in the East. The way they played last night, they still got a long way to go. Still have some issues to fix, but at least they played a much better. They shot 44% from the floor.
Yeah.
And the one thing that they had not gotten was help from the bench consistently. When your bench is only giving you 12, 13, 15 points, you're handcuffed when you're playing against teams that are giving you, your bench is giving you 28, 33, 35 points. It really hurts you. So if you can, it's not going to happen, and I'm going to say it, but it's not going to happen. If you can consistently get 18 to 22 points from the likes of Niang, that's a tremendous help, especially in the fourth quarters where they've had a lot of problems. Now, we know Niang's history. He shows up one game and he's AWOL the next game. He is what he is. Right. But if you could get a 2 or 3 guys coming off that bench that can consistently contribute 10 to 25 points, you're in a much better position in terms of not overplaying your starters and getting quality minutes from your bench, which we all anticipated with this restructured roster going into the season.
Yeah, no, look, positive signs, right? Yeah, there's no question about that. Positive signs, that's for sure. So they win. Everybody in the NBA is off today. Trying to encourage folks to go out and vote. So, they'll get back.
Is today a holiday?
Yeah, no, it's not a holiday. What it is, all the schools and stuff are closed because this is
just the voting.
That's where the voting is.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Voting.
Yeah, right.
So they're back at it Thursday. So they get a couple days off. They're at Atlanta. They do that playing teams back-to-back thing. They play Thursday at Atlanta and then Saturday at home against Atlanta. So that's what the Sixers have. Flyers do play tonight. Off to a 6-3-2 start, which I think we all would have signed up for before the season started.
Absolutely.
What I'm encouraged about is Carter Hart. And Carter Hart so far, 6-0-2 record, 197 goals against, and a 946 save percentage. This is what we needed to see more than anything else, guys, is that, him grow. I know last year was such a disaster. It's hard to judge anybody, and he had no help in front of him. His defenseman killed him, but John Tortorella plays a more defensive system where he helps his goalie out a little bit more.
You can tell.
And I think Hart is benefiting from this big time.
Yes.
I agree, but I also think, to use the consummate hockey term, Carter Hart has been standing on his head in a lot of games. He's turning away 37, 36, 33 shots a game. I mean, that ain't easy to do.
No question.
And he's playing light years better. I hope he holds it up, because compared to what he did last year, which was a disaster, it has been 100% turnaround for him this season. I hope this is just a small sign of what's to come in terms of consistency for him throughout this season.
I feel like he's got his mojo back a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's feeling good about himself. We know that he's talented, and it's just a matter. Look, a quarterback doesn't have an offensive line, he's going to look bad. Right. Well, a goalie doesn't have, a good defense in front of him. It's going to hurt him.
That's right.
So you think is this schematically what was going on the past 2 years was wrong for him. And right now is it the personnel or the scheme, which is working out better for him?
A little bit of both, Barrett. I think that they didn't, the Vigneault / Mike Yo, whatever system wasn't as goalie friendly as what Tortorella runs.
Right.
They have better players this year. They're not, Flyers aren't great, but they have better defensive players than they had last. And plus, let's face it, that thing went so far off the rails.
Oh my goodness.
That it was just, guys were underachieving. I think guys had checked out. They're playing hard for Tortorella. I will say that. They're playing hard.
I think it's more so the scheme than the personnel, because when you look at the personnel, it's not a star-studded lineup like some of the teams out there.
I think Rasmus.
Yeah, I think Rob said a few moments ago, I think this team has done a much better job in terms of committing to the defenseman collapsing to help the goalie. That has been a tremendous help, and they benefit off that with the rushes off the Carter Hart deflections as well. I think they're a much better team in transition so far through 11 games than what we saw for the most part the entire last season.
Yeah, and that's why you bring in a Tony DeAngelo and some of the guys can quarterback the power play, and you need Provorov to get back to being Provorov. Like, there's a lot that needs to happen. We're early, but it's encouraging, I think.
I was looking at it, Ivan looks a little more confident in everything he's doing also,
Yeah.
I first time really looked at DeAngelo. He's making some things happen also. Yeah,
he's an offensive defenseman, and that's kind of what his game is. And I don't think they're ultimately a team that's going to be over 500. I don't think they're a playoff team, but I think when you were as bad as they were last year, you have to just kind of pick up the pieces and start to build this thing back up. And the first thing you needed to do was get Carter Hart right. And so far, mission accomplished as far as that goes. So, our focus now with the Phillies, being done, we'll focus a little bit more on the Sixers and the Flyers. That's for sure. Just kind of see where things are with them. I wanted to throw this out there too. I meant to get to it when we were talking about basketball. So, not a good one for Ben Simmons last night. 2 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 15 minutes off the bench. And if you watched any of it, Luka Doncic was really kind of hunting him last night, just going after him. So
I wonder why.
Man,
instead of calling him Ben Simmons, we should change his name to Ben Lemon. How about that? What do you think?
It has not been a great start for him or that team, to say the least.
And what are they paying this man? What are they paying? What is Ben Simmons making this year?
I want to say it's like 34. I'll pull it up.
Something like 30, 34, 32, somewhere around there.
All right, I'm pulling up his salary right now, so you can. It's not good. If you're Brooklyn, all right. So Ben Simmons he's in the midst of a 5-year, $177 million deal.
How much?
$177 million. His average salary is $35 per year.
It says here he's making $35,448,672 for this season.
And then it'll go up to 37.8 and then 40.3. Enjoy that, Brooklyn.
God, that man's like Jesse James, the Cole Younger. That man trained robbing everybody.
Yeah, man.
And then he goes out and buys him another McLaren or something like that just to piss everybody off.
It's funny, man. I'm watching like local news last night, and they did a story how he can't sell his Rittenhouse Square penthouse. What? I don't know what the story is. Like, if he's just, the price is too high or whatever. It must be. The price must be jacked up, but he can't move it. He's been trying to move it for a while now, and he can't sell it.
Well, you know what's going to happen, because you see that across the country, people trying to sell these luxurious homes in Florida on the water. They start out like $42 million. All of a sudden, 2 years later, they had to settle for $22 million. Oh,
no,
42. You have to settle for 22.
It's down at the Lowe's. It's in the same building as the Lowe's.
Oh, is that where it is?
Yeah, and I was actually going to dinner down there, going down the street to I forget what that steakhouse down there. I forget what it is.
Steak 48. Steakhouse 48? Yeah.
I'm going to Steak 48. I was going to Steak 48. And of course, I pull up and everybody wants to talk. Hey, I'm like, yeah, it's cool. Yeah. And the guy comes out with 2 big dogs, man. I mean, these dogs were huge. They were 2 Irish wolfhounds.
Whoa.
And he said, yeah, Ben Simmons is my neighbor. I said, oh, okay, then. He said, yeah, he's got these 2 cats that he had before. They're big cats. They're like real big cats.
Yeah.
Pumas, cheetahs, what?
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah, cheetahs. He's got cheetahs in his apartment.
So he's saying, yeah, he's not gonna be able to sell that for a while.
Oh, so the cats did some damage, I guess.
I don't know what it is, but so they just can't.
Cat urine. Oh man.
Well,
no, they're not living there. No, he's got the cats with him.
Oh, okay.
But they're they're not really domestic cats, but they're cats that. Let me look it up.
Bobcats.
No, they're not bobcats.
Bobcats.
No. Let me see.
Are they cougars?
Probably so. Him and what's his name hanging out in New York.
Wait, let me guess. Ocelots. Are they ocelots?
Yes, I think that's what they are. Ocelots.
That's like a bobcat. That's like an African
whatever
bobcat.
it is, it's not a normal cat. Ben's got to have something different.
Wait a minute. This dude's got an exotic cat living in his place?
He's got 2 of them.
Because you've got to have permits.
2 cats.
They won't let you have those living in the city.
Bro, I'm just letting you know what he has, bro. He has 2 cats, and they were attacking people, I guess.
But you got to find this. You got to find this, Barrett. You got to find it. And now you got me saying, I got me searching now.
I literally think that's what they are, though. I think he says one of them was 4,000, one of them was 6,000. He spent 10,000 on 2 cats, and
my man likes to spend that coin, man.
He said he immediately regretted it. I had 2 Savannah cats.
Never heard of those.
Well,
Savannah cats.
Yeah, me neither. But he said they're like wild. They were wild cats that domesticated them. You know, it's kind of crazy.
Oh yes, I had 2 Savannah cats. He splashed out a total of 10,000 for these cats. Savannah cats. I've never heard of a Savannah cat.
Man, these guys just love to spend their money in bizarre ways. Anyway, all right. So we come back. NFL talk. So the Colts have hired an offensive coordinator or a guy to call plays. Jeff Saturday, who's been on the job for like 12 hours, has now a play caller. And it's about as bizarre as the Jeff Saturday hire. So we'll get into that.
Who is it?
You will not know the name.
Okay.
I can promise you that. But I'll give you his background. Okay. It's this thing gets weirder and weirder in Indy, man. It just does. It's
Jim Irsay Sturkis.
Yeah. You know, and he had sort of taken a backseat a little. He's always going to be a guy who's unconventional, Irsay. But he had, for a while, I think, at least let his football people do their thing. I don't think that's the case anymore, man. This has the earmarks of him written all over it. And I think everybody in the organization is kind of looking at it like, you got to be kidding me that this is even happening. So we'll dig into it. I'll give you the background of the guy who's calling the plays now. We'll do all that. We got a lot of stuff in store for the NFL. There's tons. We're going to do a little buy-sell as well. So you don't want to go anywhere. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn, and Rob Ellis. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk about Flynn Tree Services. Yes, Flynn Tree Services is an experienced, licensed, and insured Pennsylvania tree services company that will trim or remove any unwanted trees off of your property. They offer cost-effective solutions to any tree problem that you may face. So ask yourself the question. Go out there, take a look in the yard, look around the house, whatever the case may be. If you have any tree issues in your yard or on your property, they're just a quick phone call away. They are experts trimming all types of trees, and they service southeastern Pennsylvania, South Jersey, and northern Delaware. Flynn Tree Services specializes in full tree removal, stump grinding, as well as tree pruning. Keep in mind, we got the time of year where it's a little crazy. I was out today doing some stuff. It's very windy. It's a good time to get your trees evaluated. Go to their Facebook or Instagram page for more information or a sampling of their work. Give Flynn Tree Services a call at 610-850-2848, 610-850-2848, or online at flyntreeservices.com. That's flyntreeservices.com.